to the clock sanctuary. I am Tempora's Comptoirs, and I'm going to show you a little piece about this here clock. Tempora clocks. They were a division of Smiths that were wholly owned by Smiths, made in the early 60s, and supposed to be quite nice. I've got two of them and they're not. They're horrible things. But I got them cheap. Now this one dates from 1969. I know that because there's a plaque on the back that says that Fysons gave it to somebody for enduring 20 years with them, and they bought him this piece of nastiness. It didn't look as good as this when I got it, and it's got one of those electric things. The battery goes in there and it sort of clunks. Anyway, I restored it, made it look nice, and that took some doing, and I don't use it. But it meant something to somebody once. And then I came across another one. Now this one is a real clock. Look. This is the first sort of floating balance that Smiths used. They've been invented by somebody else. They made it under license and improved it slightly, and we got one in there. And it looks in good order as well. Now you may ask, why did you buy that? Well, it was cheap. That's why. It looks a blimmin' mess, but in its day it meant something to somebody, and in this case there's writing on the top. Look at that. It says that it was given to the Reverend somebody or the other, Iden Hart, in recognition of 40 years service to the ministry, ending at the Holy Cross, Woodbury, on the 11th of September 1960, 1 month before I was born. The church is still there. Nice little place. I've seen it on the internet. I don't know if it's used much now, but it's still there. And this chappie had done all that ministering, and now he isn't. And his clock nearly wasn't either. So I thought it had to be saved, because it's got history. It's not just a Tempora. It's not just a Tempora clock. It's somebody's special clock, and it sat on our mantelpiece for some years, doing a great service, no doubt. And he used to look at that and think, well, bless me, and things like that. And then when he shuffled away, it just got forgotten about and chucked out, more or less. Bits fell off. So what do? We need to look at the mechanism first, because we can't seemingly get it out. So we look at the back, see, and we notice one thing straight away: it's all there. So undo these 3 screws and this, and we'll see what's inside. The great reveal. Now then. Floating balance. All intact, no damage. Spring. Fully wound. Oh dear. Guts and gubbins. All there. No, it looks like it might have been rebushed just there. Can you see that? Everything else looks fine, no big holes. Now then, before we can take any of it apart, we've got to let this spring down. But the bits to let the spring down, the ratchet, the click, whatever, is in there or under there. No screws. No screws, see? No screws around there. So, this is held to this by a little brass nut thing in there under the hands. Don't know if you can see that in there under all that. So we've got to get this glass off, winkle the hands off, undo the brassy doings, and it all falls apart. Then we can see what's there. How do we get this off? Aha. This horological device is what's known as a remover. And you investigate. Looked all round in here. No screws. No screws. So nothing there. No, 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 no. So therefore this has to come off. Insert this. Voila. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Feel, feel, feel. And you feel this. About 3 pins. Screws, bolts, whatever. Holding it on. Now as there are no nuts this side, they're not little bolts like they are on some clocks. There's no threads sticking through there at all, so therefore we presume it's some sort of nail is welded onto here and it's got to come off. So normally prizing all the way around we'd ease it off. A little bit of investigation has showed that they are in fact rusted, solid and all corroded. So because the whole clock has been suffering from a bit of damp at some time. So we're just going to ease this off. We have investigated this a little bit earlier. We don't want to crack the glass. We're just going to keep, there's a pin just there, see? Can you see that? It's just putting a bit of resistance in. I'm just going to go around there and see. Can you see there? Can you see there? Where are we going? Just there. It's pin. Rusty. Rusty is as oh dearie me. So we just keep winkling it round with our flexible tool. We're not too bothered about marking the finish because it's all coming off anyway, because it's horrible. You join us again, still on the same day, and we just have the final bit to go. So we can now take the glass out and put it somewhere safe. And we're now going to use two of these horological tools under the piece there, because that pin's being a bit of a naughty one, and we're going to prise them apart. Now to get these off you can get a special tool. We're just having a little feely. It's coming. There, it's off. One hand. Two hands. Now the fun starts. There is a tool for this, and circlip pliers will do it as well. The circlip pliers are in the other workshop, which is over there, and I'm not going over there, so I'm going to use this. This is a screwdriver. If you're a nervous disposition, it's probably best if you look away now. I should now just put that into, I'm resting the clock at an angle so it's firm. I'm putting the blade in the slot, I'm holding it there, and I'm whacking it with the horological tool. And we're getting some progress there. Let's try, see if it's hand tight now. You are indeed getting somewhere. Here we go. Oh, we're cooking with gas now. Look at that. In the pot. Da, 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 da. Make sure nothing's going to fall over there. That's what it looks like behind. There's a sort of grabby washer thing there. This disc that was there, one side it has, you probably can't see it, but there's some little barbs. They grip the wood. This side, some little tongues. They go in there. So you can tighten up the thing, and that's it. The plot thickens. I've never done one of these before, and convention has it that when you take a clock apart you don't want the mainspring to have any tension in it, or else it will go phoom, and things will spin round and fly all over the place, break, probably chew the ends of your fingers off. Not good. I did once have a fusee spring explode on me, but that wasn't my fault, it was broken and I didn't know that. But that's another story. Now, it's fairly straightforward to let down the spring. It has a click, you hold the click, you turn the spring a bit, you release the click a bit, and you let it down piece by piece by piece. Easy. No, this is different. It would be, wouldn't it? For a start, one of the plates appears to be bent. Look, can you see that? That plate there goes like that. You think it should be flat. There's no reason for it to be bent. It's as if the spring's been pushed in by a ne'er-do-well. Anyway, I wanted to get this plate off. It's held by those three nuts, as you can see, and they are tight. In fact, they are F-tight. You can't get pliers in there, turn them, but you can get things in the side and that, but I haven't got a small spanner that fits. And the pliers won't take it off. But even if I took this plate off, it doesn't help me. Can you see in there? No click. The click on the spring, or the ratchet if you don't know about these things, is actually in there. You have the spring barrel, the spring is inside that. You have the main wheel here, which is full of little holes, and on it, on the top of it, is a flat spring with about three bits that stick in, and as you wind it up they go bonk 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 and plonk into a hole, stop it unwinding without driving the thing. There's no way I can lift those. So then I'm wondering, well, I've got the handle on it, what's the worst that can happen? It could just fly round and round while I hold that. A bit random. I hold on to this, take the plates off and it goes. Could be a bit of a mess. This bit's alright though. Nice. Good condition. But the whole thing is a bit yucky. Not much, not too bad. And will benefit from a clean. You know, those port and polish, if you like. Arbours and holes. But that is... See if you can spot, if I can get this right, where the front plate on the clock, which is this one, is bent, because it most certainly is. And while we're waiting for that little bit of excitement, we can just watch all these lovely pinions and wheels whirring round. It's fascinating. Now here we come. We won't take much notice of the plate here, because the angle of that could be wrong anyway, because it's only mounted on 3 little lugs. But you'll notice, if I can get this in the right place, that this plate here has definitely got a bend in it, see? It goes, ooh. And I would say somebody has pushed blimmin' hard on the key sometime, and it's definitely pushed it all the way through, because on the end of the arbor there's a slight reduction where it goes through the plate, and it's bent the plate. Well, I'll have to correct that. It probably still works fine, but it shouldn't be like that. And at last we come to the finished item. It's not quite the finish I was after, but it looks very period and far better than the clock did when I first got it. It's a brilliant timekeeper. The floating balance is working a dream, and all in all I'm very satisfied with how it's turned out.